The story opens in a world where Demon Lord has harmed a lot of people. To control the situation and to defeat Demon Lord, 6 Braves were chosen. 7 Braves were found implementing. 1 is an impostor. But our story doesn't start there. Adlet goes to Piena to meet the good fortune of fate. He has come to meet the goddess so that she can help him become strong. However, Adlet gets there at the wrong hour. A semi-final match was going on between Batol and Quado. This tournament is considered a holy one because it determines the bravest man. Adlet walks during the match. The guards tried to stop him, but to no avail. He overpowered them easily. Finally, he was captured when some more guards came and put him in prison. While he is in jail, a maid who was impressed by his fighting skills comes to pay him a visit. She starts a conversation with him, in which he tells her that his ambition is to be one of the 6 brave warriors who will fight the Demon Lord. He further tells her of his wish to fight with Princess Nashetania. He was shifted to an isolated cell, which was in a dark hole. Days have passed since this incident, and Adlet is still in that isolated prison with a limited supply of food and water. Some weeks later, the results of the battles were announced. Luckily, Adlet was chosen as one of them. He receives a crest of 6 flowers on his right hand. The maid comes again to meet him and reveals herself to be the princess. She tells him that she is there for him. She cunningly traps the soldiers who put Adlet in prison in the same dark, deep hole, and both flee from Piena. They have decided to go to the land of Howling Demons so that they can meet the other Braves, and all of them can work out a plan to defeat the demon god. Days have passed since they started their journey. As they got to know each other on their journey, they grew closer. Adlet also realizes Princess' true happiness and mischievous nature. Despite the fact that she painted her nature in the exact opposite way, Adlet figures out the way Princess's abilities work. Despite all of this, during their journey, they came across a village that had been attacked by Kuma. Both of them decided to fight and escort the villagers to safety. They even succeeded in that, but the duo was told about a girl who was still trapped inside. Princess refused to go back for just one girl, as she thought their mission was more important. Adlet, who cannot bring up the heart to do this, decides against it and goes back for the young girl. When he arrives at the village again, it is already filled with the dead bodies of the Kuma. He found a girl with white hair wearing all black who was helping a dog and its puppies run to safety. The girl introduces herself as Flamey. Flamey is also one of the Braves. She possesses the Saint of Gunpowder's power. On the other hand, Goldov, who is also chosen among the 6 Braves, goes to see Princess. He admits that Flamey is also one of the Braves and that she is quite good at what she does. Back at the village, Flamey holds Adlet at gunpoint. She asks him to leave him alone. We then get to know Flamey and learn that she hates all humans and wishes to fight the Demon Lord alone. Adlet pursues her until he is able to stop her. As the time has passed, Princess and Goldov decide to head back to the village. They reach the village but are unable to find Flamey and Adlet. Adlet has left a note for her on his horse in which he forbids Princess to wait for him and reach the gathering place for Braves. Adlet and Flamey would join them later. They both are traveling on foot, have arrived at the fortress where the guards greet them. The place is filled with the dead bodies of humans and demons because the place is near a demon lord's castle and they attack often. That was the reason they asked for Flamey and Adlet's help. The leader tells them that a brave named Mora is waiting for all the other Braves at the shrine. Adlet and Flamey resume their journey after getting enough information about everything. Goldov and Nashetania attack the duo. Nashetania asks Adlet to stay away from Flamey. Flamey and Nashetania continue their fight. Adlet tries to stop the fight, but Goldov tells him to stay out of it. Adlet finally shouts at both of them so that they can stop. Nashetania is told that Flamey is also brave and she is a good killer. Flamey agrees with being a killer and even names a few of her victims. Adlet asks about Lura also being her target. She accepts the claim but also states that she has no idea where she is. Adlet inquires as to the reason for the slaughter of all the Braves, to which Flamey responds that Majin may return if all of the Braves are weak individuals. Goldov and Nashetania were again convinced that Flamey was their enemy, so they attacked her to kill her. Adlet again stops them and tells them that he does not believe this, as why would anyone want to retrieve Majin? He further states that he would love to fight with Flamey. Goldov and Nashetania finally calm down and tell Flamey that they only believe Adlet. As all of this is going on, the Braves notices flying Kimma and rush to the temple. A group of Kilma attacks them, but Nashetania tells Adlet to go as the others fight. Adlet makes it to the temple and tries to help an injured priestess. He opens the temple door with the help of some explosives. When inside, two oldies surprisingly attack Adlet. Adlet looks back at the priestess, who reveals her true identity as a shape-shifting Kilma, and they escape. Adlet fights with the soldiers and gets rid of them. Finally, he enters the room and finds that it has been activated and the sword is already on the pedestal. When the Braves enter inside, they are told about the situation and everyone tries to figure out what is happening. Mora also arrives and she believes there is an outsider among them. When everyone shows their crest, they notice that they are 7 crests, which is impossible as Mora tells the story of the saint of a single flower. Everyone starts to suspect Flame, so Mora recommends that everyone introduce themselves so they can figure out a way. Everyone starts to introduce themselves. Mora claims herself as the Saint of Mountains. Chemot is a saint of swamps and Hans is an assassin. When it was Flamey's turn, she revealed herself to be half demon and half human. All of the Braves now start suspecting Adlet, who was the one to enter the temple except Nashetania. Adlet tries to deny all the claims and explain his side of the story. No matter what he does, no one is brave enough to believe in him. The situation became so intense that Hand and Goldov attacked Adlet, but he defended himself. With no other options left, he takes Flamey hostage to leave the place successfully. Hans was able to stop Adlet by making him unconscious due to a loss of blood. On the other hand, the other Braves were busy looking for Adlet and Flamey. Mora informs them that if Flamey dies, one petal will be removed from their tattoo. Thus, she believes that Flamey is still alive. While he was going unconscious, Adlet had a flashback of the time when he requested Master Atro Spiker to teach him because a demon kidnapped everyone from his village, leaving him behind. Furthermore, Master Atro agreed and gave him his first lesson, which was to always smile in despair. After some time, Adlet wakes up and finds himself tied to a chair. He sees that Flamey treated his wounds because Flamey still believes in Adlet. Adlet tells Flamey about the demon and how his family was kidnapped, thus explaining the main reason behind the revenge. Flamey also reveals to him that her mother, who was a demon, betrayed her and tried to kill her when she failed to kill Chemot. This had broken Flamey's heart badly, and thus she wanted revenge on the demon. After the conversation, Adlet suspects that there might be an 8th Brave which he needs to find to prove his innocence. Flamey decides to leave, but before leaving she gives Adlet an object that would help her track him down. Flamey returns to the other Braves who are still trying to find Adlet. The Braves devise a strategy and divide into 3 groups. The first group was Flamey and Mora, while the second group was Nashetania and Goldo. Hans and Chemot also pairs up. Adlet, who was witnessing everything from afar, realizes that the Braves have started to search for him. So he found an opportunity to go back to the temple and take his equipment which was left there. Adlet, who was in a hurry, ran into Hans, who attacked him as soon as he found him. Both get into an intense fight. Adlet tries to fool Hans by dropping off all his weapons, but Hans is not into it. Hans knew that Adlet was trying to fool him and his suspicion was right. Adlet uses his sword as a gun to get the upper hand on Hans. Adlet had a perfect chance to end things with Hans, but he didn't take it. He tried to tell Hans that he was not an impostor and that he was not the one behind all of this. No matter how hard Adlet tries, Hans still suspects him. So to test Adlet, Hans created a fake illusion in which Adlet's throat is being slit. Adlet, however, does not react to this, and when the hallucination ended, he asked Hans what he was doing. Hans tells him he created a fake illusion to test Adlet's innocence. A dying person cannot lie and is not afraid. Hans was convinced when Adlet remained strong during the hallucination. All the while, all the other Braves are looking for Adlet, as everyone still suspects him. At this point, Nashetania starts to suspect Hans of being a fake soldier. So she decides to tell this to Goldov and asks for his help. Adlet and Hans go back to the temple to find clues to his innocence. When they exit the temple, they run into Chemot, who is just bored with all of this. She suggests that they should kill everyone to find the impostor among them. Chemot gets into action after summoning the demon named Juma inside her. After that, she attacks the duo. As Chemot is a saint of swamps, she could eat all the demons, and those demons lived in the swamp. As the demon would regenerate, causing more difficulties for Adlet and Hans to escape. Both decide to work as a team to defeat Chemot. They were able to make Chemot unconscious, which stopped the demon from attacking them. They then tie her up so that she cannot attack anyone again. This incident makes them wonder if there is a possibility that Tiamat knew how to activate the barrier. When questioned, she rejects his false claim of being an impostor. Adlet decides to leave to search for clues and discuss the situation with Flamey, leaving Hans alone to deal with Tiamat. Adlet uses the same item Flamey gave her and meets her. Adlet starts telling about his suspicion that there is a possibility that a saint is involved in all this. He thinks that Saint created a fake illusion, making everyone think that they are all stuck here. Flamey, who does not agree with him, rejects his suspicion. Adlet expresses his feelings for her, which makes Flamey suspicious of Adlet. According to her, Adlet might be trying to trick her. Back at the temple, Mora finds Tiamat tied up. Hans tried to explain the situation to him, but Mora's suspicion grows toward Adlet. So she uses her power of telepathy to order all the Braves to catch Adlet. This was not enough for her. She manipulates Goldov and Nashetania by telling them that Adlet tried to kill Hans. This order makes Nashetania angry. On Mora's order, Flamey attacks Adlet, so he leaves the place for his safety. Flamey keeps following Adlet and keeps sending the other Braves their locations. Mora uses this as an opportunity, so she also follows to the location to catch Adlet. Mora reaches him and attacks him. The situation becomes more tense for Adlet now that he has to fight Mora and Flamey at the same time. After some time, Adlet decides to stop and tries to convince Mora of his innocence instead of running away. He tells her that he can kill him, but if she finds out that he wasn't the impostor, all of this would be in vain. These words touch Flamey's heart, and she decided to trust him. Thus, she stops Mora from killing Adlet. Flamey and Adlet flee to avoid Mora. They come across Nashetania and Goldov, who were about to kill Adlet because of what Mora accused him of earlier. Adlet decides to head back to the temple to meet Hans. Flamey decides to help him, but Goldov and Nashetania stop him. Nashetania and Goldov continues their attack. Adlet finally had enough of Nashetania, so he blocked her weapon with his hand and kicked her, so that he may escape. Goldov decides to keep following Adlet until the point where they reach the location where they have fought the Kumas, which was near the temple. When everyone returned to the temple, Nashetania was more than surprised to see Chamto and Hans together in the temple. Nashetania realized at this point that Mora had lied to her about Adlet. An embarrassed Nashetania apologizes to Adlet for attacking him. After all of this, Adlet comes up with a final guess, that the impostor might have used Lura and forced her to increase the room temperature for a week. And when the Braves opened the door, Lura was killed, causing the temperature to decrease, immediately causing fog. The Kuma ate her body afterwards so that they could hide it. Hans decided to look at the body. When he discovers Lura's body, he realizes Adlet is telling the truth. When he was done speaking, he suspected Mora of all of this. However, Chamo disagreed with what Adlet was saying. She and Hans found copies of all the tablets and tools that might be used to open the barrier. They even found the second tablet, which had the instructions for opening the barrier and the reason for the fog. Flamey suspects Nashetania of being the culprit. Adlet also started to suspect her as the one behind all of this, the one who planned everything. Nashetania finally gives in and reveals that she is the seventh Brave. Nashetania explains her decision to kill all of them because she wants humans and Kuma to coexist peacefully, although more than 500,000 people have been killed in this process. Adlet orders everyone to kill Nashetania, but she escapes. Adlet falls unconscious. When he wakes up, he finds Mora treating his wounds and apologizing for having misunderstood him. Everyone takes a short break. They then decided to go fight Majin, but they ran into Rolonia. Rolonia apologizes for being late as she tells everyone that she is brave and was caught up in the fog. As she displays her crest, she reveals herself to be the Saint of Blood. During all of this chaos, the soldiers of Gwenbir tell them that a flood of more than 1,000 Kumas is coming. After realizing the depth of the situation, the Braves decide to stop their search for the seventh Brave among them and team up. All of them start their journey towards Wailing Demon territory. As they leave the temple, they ask for help from the troop of soldiers to reactivate the barriers as they leave.